Next is the clinical effects. So clinical effects, can you identify this? There was a snake bite on the finger, so which caused coagulopathy as well as a local tissue necrosis. The patient can even lose the finger. Okay. So the symptoms can be neurotoxicity, systemic toxicity, coagulopathy, renal failure, and local tissue necrosis. Systemic toxicity includes hypotension and shock. So the envenomation can be divided into various grades. When you come across the patient based on the signs and symptoms, you can decide to what grade the patient fits into. Not all present with severe envenomation. Not everyone requires admission and intensive treatment, right? So based on the bites, the local effects, the systemic effects, you divide the envenomation into different grades. So the first is non-envenomation, where there's a presence of fang marks without any local or systemic reactions. So there will be presence of fang marks without local or systemic reactions. Second is mild envenomation. Mild envenomation, it includes local swelling and pain without any systemic reactions. The third one is moderate envenomation, where in addition to the pain and swelling, there will be edema. The edema spreads towards the trunk. There can be nausea, vomiting, mild increase in temperature. So those are the conditions of moderate envenomation. The last one is severe envenomation, which includes the edema can spread to the extremities and the part of the trunks. Also, the systemic symptoms can be there, which includes tachycardia, hypotension, shock, and in the previous one we saw mild increase in temperature, but here there will be subnormal temperature or hypothermia. You can feel the body is becoming cold. So that is severe envenomation. Okay. So coming to the next one is management. The most important and where the medical fraternity comes into picture is the management. So if you're working in a remote area, if you're working in a PHC, if you're working in anywhere, you're bound to come across at least one case of snake biting during your practice. So at least you should know how to manage the basic case of snake bite. Okay. So the first and foremost is reassurance of the patient. Reassure the victim that death is not imminent and medical care is available. You should make the patient as calm as possible. The reason being, as the excitement will increase, so does the heart rate, and this will lead to the spread of the venom. So make the victim lie flat with the bitten limb below the heart level. So mind you, this is very important. The bite side should never be above the heart level. So what happens if it's above the heart level? Why are we so specific that it should be below the heart level? The reason being, once it's above the heart level, it increases the venous return to the heart. So if you lift your upper limb above, increase the venous return to the heart. You increase the lower limb above, increase the venous return to the heart from that specific limb. So this causes the toxin to move to the heart. Once it goes to the heart, it will get circulated to the whole body, which includes your brain, your heart, your GI system, pulmonary, everything. So that's the reason we make the victim lie flat with the bitten limb below the heart level. So if he's wearing any shoes, ring, watches, jewelry, or any tight clothing, remove it. Because as the time goes by, because of local reaction and things, there will be swelling. And if these rings, watches, or jewelry are present, they'll act as a tourniquet. Okay, it will decrease the circulation, making the limb go for necrosis. Okay, so that is the most important thing. And mobilize the victim's bitten limb using a splint or lightly put a bandage, okay, so that it, not much of movement occurs in that limb. When not much of movement occurs, no, the circulation to that part, the circulation of venom from that part decreases. Okay. Next comes the first aid. So there are few do's and don'ts. So you should educate the patients. Okay. You should, wherever you are, if at all you are in rural areas where snake bites are more common, educate the patients. So how are we going to educate them? So explain about the first aid. Explain about the do's and don'ts. So when it comes to first aid, you should always tell, don't go for any local medications. Okay. For quacks, or use your own things unless until you are totally aware of it. So immediately they should call for medical help. Try to calm the patient. No, it is easier said than done. When a patient has had a snake bite from a cobra, you can't ask him to be calm, right? So the only thing is reassurance. Tell him that medical care is available and it can be treated. So you have to reassure the patient so that he remains a little, at least calm to a certain extent. Movement can cause the venom to move quickly throughout the body. Okay. So decrease any movements. Consider making a splint. We'll discuss how a splint is done. Okay. To restrict the movement of the affected area. Any constricting cloth or jewelry should be removed. Because as we have discussed, the area of bite is likely to swell. Okay, so it's important to remove these items quickly. Next is, never make the patient to walk. Okay, the hospital is close by, you run to the hospital. So that's not the way it's being done. Okay, so either carry the patient or transport the victim by a vehicle. So already he's tense because of a bite. So the more he runs, it will increase the circulation of the venom to all the parts of the body, right? So always don't make the patient to walk or run. So carry the patient by a transport vehicle, an ambulance, or if even that is not there, you should carry the patient by some other person, by a bystander. They can carry them to the hospital. Okay. So next is, we'll just see how a splint is done. Okay. So just apply a mild pressure band. So based on where the site is. So if the site is in the upper limb, if the site is in the lower limb, you have to first know that. Then make a pressure bandage. Make a pressure bandage. You might find a stick or a scale or something. You put it. It should include the ankle and the knee. Or if it's the upper limb, it should include the wrist. So that the movement is not there. So when the movement is not there, the circulation of the venom decreases. Okay. So immobilize it using a sling or something. You immobilize it. Okay. This is how you can educate them to make a splint or a sling. Now, what all you should not be doing. So tourniquet. So never tie a tourniquet. Okay. Do not use a tourniquet. Do not cut into the snake bite. Do not incise the bite site. Do not attempt to suck the venom out by the mouth. Another thing they had, theoretically they were telling us to put an ice pack, because ice, as you know, it will decrease the temperature, decrease circulation. Okay, so there is no, but studies have shown that there is no role of ice application. Do not wash the wound. Of course, it has to be washed, but it has to be washed from a known person, from a medical personnel, or one who is aware of these first aid techniques. Do not give the victim any medication unless until it is directed by a doctor. Okay. Next thing is, do not, as we discussed, do not raise the area of the bite above the victim's heart. So again and again it is to be stressed. So it should not be raised above the victim's heart. So once it is in a hospital, what are you supposed to do? So initial hospital management is place the patient in rest, reassure the patient. immobilize the affected part, clean the wound, ask about the history of tetanus injection, so give a shot of tetanus. So most of the times they would have either killed the snake or they would have bought a live snake for the identification. So I know you might not have been as expert in snake, at least you should know how to differentiate a venomous or a non-venomous snake. So there are a few things like the bite marks. So if it's a rounded head, it's most probably a non-venomous snake. The venomous snakes, they'll be having a triangular head. The eyes, even the eyes of the snake will help you to identify it's a venomous or a non-venomous snake. Also, try to examine the urine of the patient. If it is reddish in color, it means there is hemoglobinuria or myoglobinuria, and the patient is likely to go for a intrinsic renal failure. So monitor the renal parameters, monitor the urine output, hydrate the patient well, give IV fluids. So these are the initial hospital management has to be done, because if you neglect the intrinsic renal failure at this point of time, the patient might land up in a chronic renal failure. Okay, there might be a permanent damage to the kidneys. So that is important. So next, what other things you can do? So local wound management, first thing. Okay, second things, any emergency case which you get, what you usually do: maintenance of the patency of the airway, breathing, circulation, give oxygen if required, calm the patient, immobilize the extremity using a splint. So treat the shock, measure the blood pressure. Most of them, they'll be having hypotension, cold clammy peripheries. So treat shock, give IV fluids, draw the circle around the bite and note down the time, at what time you have drawn it, because you know that the discoloration can spread. So as soon as the bite occurs, the hand won't become blackish or necrosis. So you'll know that at what rate the necrosis is happening. Okay, so you have to hurry, you have to do something to salvage the finger or the limb. So draw a circle around the bite and note the time, so you know at what rate the venom is spreading or the necrosis is happening. Next, and the most important thing is anti-snake venom or ASV. Okay, so ASV is the most important thing. You should know how to use it, what to use, when to use. So ASV in India, so what is this ASV? How are they made? Okay, so it varies from a country to country based on the type of snakes that are prevalent in that particular geographical area. ASV, they contain antivenin against, in India especially, against cobra, Russell viper, great saw-scaled viper. So the antivenin from all these common snakes have been taken and prepared an anti-serum, anti-snake venom. So each vial of ASV contains 10 ml of antivenin and costs about 500 rupees. So rural and poor patients from agricultural background, so they're the most common patients who fall victim to the snake bites, and they are poor. So what the government have done is, any government hospital they go, they get this ASV for free of cost. And even in many private hospitals, up to 10 vials are given free of cost. Okay, so the problem being because it's a refined animal serum product, some patients they develop hypersensitivity reactions because it's serum, right? So most of the serum patients are not so adjusted to that, they develop these hypersensitivity reactions. So you have to always watch for any hypersensitivity reactions. It's not that any snake bite comes you directly go and give an ASV. It is to be administered only when there are definite signs of envenomation. Envenomation in the sense, if there are any signs of coagulopathy, neurotoxicity, and it is to be given at the earliest, because only this unbound, the venom which is not bound to anything, free flowing venom in bloodstream, tissue fluid, only those can be neutralized. And doctor should be prepared to handle any adverse reactions, that is your anaphylactic reaction. So always keep a hydrocortisone, antihistamine ready. So sometimes they also advise to give prophylactically before you start the anti-snake venom. And test doses, some they do give, some they don't give, but studies have shown that test doses does not have any predictive value in predicting anaphylactic reactions or late serum sickness. So it's usually not recommended. Okay. So other thing is dose. So based on the mild envenomation, severe envenomation. So at least a minimum they'll require at least 8 vials to 15 vials. Okay. So it's usually given in an IV infusion in a NS bottle. You've seen 500 ml NS bottle. So it's infused into that and it is given as infusion. Okay, over a couple of hours. So 2 to 4 hours it's given, and during that time it has the blood pressure, the respiratory rate, any crepitations, any V's has to be monitored, because if there is any anaphylactic reaction, it has to be, you have to act immediately. The patient might not have died because of your snake bite, but he'll die because of your anaphylactic reactions. Okay, so you have to be prepared how to handle these anaphylactic reactions, and you have to keep everything prepared: your laryngoscope, your sets for intubation, and your hydrocortisone, adrenaline. So all these things you have to keep ready. Okay. So other things they do give us neostigmine.